So you want to learn Blockbench? Well, you've come to the right place. I'm a Blockbench artist, and in this series, I'm going to teach you how to become one too. We'll work on 3 different projects together, from a simple Kiwi to, well, you'll have to find out. Welcome to part 1, modeling the Kiwi. The first thing you need to do when working with Blockbench is, well, have access to Blockbench. While you can do this on a phone or tablet, I'll be using the desktop version. But everything I show you can be done on a mobile device too. All you need to do is search up Blockbench in your browser, or search blockbench.net straight into the URL bar. This will bring you to this page, where you have the option to either download the app or open it on the web. Again, I'll be using the proper app, but both versions are the same. When you open up Blockbench for the first time, everything will look scary. But don't worry, it's simpler than you think. On the left side of the screen, you'll see different choices for models. Click a few of them if you're interested, because each of them explain what they are and how they work. For this tutorial, we'll click on Generic Model, and then Create New Model. It'll come up with this pop-up asking for the file name. Let's call this file Kiwi, because we're making a Kiwi. Everything else isn't important right now, so don't worry about that. Press Confirm to exit the pop-up, and you'll be greeted to a bunch of UI. Again, relax. It's really quite simple. On the left side, you have the texture and UV space. On the right is the element space. In the middle is the workspace. If you want, you can resize or move these different parts around to your liking. Pause the video now if you want to do that. Before we continue, it's time to learn some basic controls. On a mouse, the scroll wheel zooms in and out. Left click rotates the workspace, and right click moves the workspace. If you're just using a trackpad, it's the same sort of thing. So take a quick moment to move around the workspace, have a look around, and just get comfortable with the controls. Now, we're going to start by clicking the Add Element button on the element side of the screen. When you click the drop down, it will come up with a bunch of different things to add. But what we're going to click is the second one, Add Cube. When you click it, a cube will appear in the center of the workspace. Take a moment to move around it. Now, the next step is to learn some key actions. The first is Move, which is the first option at the top. Now when you click the cube, you can see 3 arrows, each pointing along the X, Y, and Z axes. Click and drag each arrow to move it along the respective axes. Once you're done, press Ctrl Z to undo, so the cube appears back in the center of the floor grid. Next, we're going to click the Resize button, located just to the right of the Move button. When you click the cube with the Resize button selected, you can see different colored squares coming out of the cube. Click and drag each of these squares to extend the cube in a specific direction. Now, since these are the most used actions in Blockbench, there are handy shortcuts for them. V is for Move, and S is for Resize. Now that you know the basics, let's start on the Kiwi's body. The body is going to be a large cube. So, resize each side of the shape to make the body as big as you want. Or, and here's a helpful tip, you can hold down the Alt key while resizing to resize both directions of a shape at the same time. Now that we've got a nice cube to work with, let's elevate it off the ground. Press V or click Move to drag the Kiwi's body until there's a space beneath it for a pair of skinny legs. Now, let's add the beak. Half because it's a Kiwi bird, and half because it'll look absolutely horrific without one. Put it in the center of its face, and make it as big of a beak as you want. There. That looks good. It's time to end this floating body problem, so let's add some of those skinny legs. Now, add another cube and squash it down flat. This will be the foot, and it's only going to be 0 pixels thick. Now, add one more cube, this time squishing it back. This will be the leg. Now move both of them to the side a bit. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Now we've got to do that all over again. But instead of adding 2 more cubes and manually making them the right size again, we're going to use a shortcut. If you hold down Control and then using the left click button, drag over the foot, you can select both cubes at once. Now press Ctrl D or duplicate to copy the foot exactly. Car pie. Now before we continue, YouTube says that approximately 1,045% of my audience are not subscribed, and only 52% of my audience are. That is concerning on many levels. But I'm doing a sub race against Waffle Syrup 100 right now, and it was looking pretty even right until last week. So if you want to help me reach 10k before Waffle Syrup, subscribing would honestly help a lot. Cheers! Looking at this Kiwi, you can probably assume that we're finished, but not yet. Let's end by giving this Kiwi some whiskers. Add another cube to the workspace and position it next to the beak. Make it a bit bigger and then squash it flat. Now it's time to learn 2 more important actions. Firstly, the rotate tool. Click the rotate tool or the letter R and then the whiskers. If it's easier, you can click it directly in the element space. 3 different colored curved lines will appear around the cube. If you hold and drag along one of these lines, you'll see that the whiskers will turn towards it. Now, this brings up another problem. At the moment, the whiskers are turning around the wrong point. That's where the pivot tool comes in. Select the pivot tool to see where the whiskers are rotating around. Now, move the pivot tool to the center of the beak, so that when you rotate the whiskers, they rotate around the beak, and not some other random point. Car pie. Now, duplicate the whiskers, and this time, click the flip X button at the top of the screen. It looks like 2 red triangles. This will flip the whiskers so that they are symmetrical to each other. Great. And that's it. We've finished modeling the Kiwi. In the next part, I'll show you how to fully texture the Kiwi. But that's the next part. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you have any questions, put them down in the comments. I'll answer as many as I can. If you did enjoy, check out this playlist in the top right, with all my other Blockbench tutorial videos. Have a great day, and CountFrogg away!